Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's frankly time for Warzone to get serious about a couple of major things in game that year over year have continued to be major standouts, and not in a good way. They are major problems that ultimately overshadow and sort of overwhelm all the positives that we can take away from any given season, or really any given year even. And it's sort of a coupled situation here. Two different things that definitely intertwine with one another, but also impact pretty much every single aspect of the game, and that is the Warzone servers and the Ricochet anti-cheat. The next iteration of Warzone is honestly going to come up very quick. It's obviously going to be happening with the Gulf War integration later on this fall/winter, most likely in like late November or early December. And time's flying. Like, that's really not all that far out in the grand scheme of things. And with it, obviously, with the new integration and everything that comes with that, there are going to be massive changes made to Warzone at its core. Now, it's not going to be a whole new jump from, let's say, Warzone 1 to Warzone 2. It's likely just going to be another integration that improves various different things across the board and then adds in the Gulf War content. But even with all of that happening, again, servers impact all of that. When we get 50 new weapons with a brand new COD title releasing, that's awesome. We could have some really iconic guns. We can have some nostalgic ones, new meta options. We go and we play with those. It's all fine and dandy, but if the servers suck, that content is then limited. The amount of fun you can have while you're skipping around or freezing or disconnecting is limited, obviously. When we see a new map debut and Caldera's the new Warzone map, or Rebirth returns, or Verdansk returns, that's awesome. It's gonna get people on the game to check things out again, to revisit one of the goated maps of Warzone's past, or to check out something brand new like Caldera or Urzikstan. But if you're lagging around the map and you're stuttering through doors and you're freezing or playing on 200 ping, that limits the amount of fun you're able to have on that content. So servers in and of themselves impact every single thing within the game and limit it if they're not working well, if they're not working at their peak. And quite frankly, COD's server performance is pretty laughable compared to other competitors. You look at other games that have really responsive servers, great tick rate, and you don't have the same awkward, annoying situations that you do in COD nearly as consistently. Like, they'll pop up here and there, but COD, it's like every game you're checking a kill cam and it's like, we know kill cams aren't accurate, but this doesn't seem to add up at all. Or you're skipping through doors, or you're stuttering, or the hit reg feels terrible for whatever reason, right? Call of Duty servers have not been, I would say, up to standard for a long time. They've needed to upgrade them drastically year over year for quite some time, and they've really yet to do so. So going into Gulf War, going into our next integration and major upgrade for Warzone, that should be a priority across the board, because as I've clearly alluded to, the impact servers have on all things you're going to be doing in the game is pretty severe. And the same thing goes with the anti-cheat. You're sitting here enjoying all this new content, woohoo, new guns, woohoo, new maps, and then suddenly there's a guy flying in a boat in the sky and shooting everyone with perfect accuracy and frying the entire lobby and finishes with 60 kills. Now, that's not something that's been as blatant in recent times. Getting back to Verdansk and like original Rebirth, that was a lot more common, but cheaters are far from non-existent right now in the current iteration of Warzone. We have aimbots and wall hacks and all sorts of cheats just plaguing the game still. And with Ricochet in specific, while it does have that same sort of, umbrella over everything, it doesn't matter what you're doing in game. It could be the greatest gameplay changes ever, slide canceling, OG, Car 98K, whatever. If you're still going to run into cheaters with all of that, it's not going to be nearly as enjoyable. But year over year, we have seen significant changes to Ricochet as opposed to the servers, which we don't really know all that much of in terms of what's actually changing year over year. With Ricochet, they talk about it. New detections, new ways to mitigate cheaters in game and stop them from cheating, but also collect a bunch of data from their computer before they end up getting banned. All sorts of things to counteract, whether it be unlock all tools or certain cheat providers, stuff like that. But there's still a significant cheating problem. So while Ricochet has quote unquote improved year over year, the cheating situation necessarily hasn't. Maybe it's the amount of blatant cheaters that we're seeing being a little bit lower, but it's still, cheater on cheater on cheater constantly throughout every single seasonal update. That's not really a number that is being lowered a ton, it seems, based off of gameplay experience. Of course, there's no specific number saying, hey, in Verdansk there were 260,000 cheaters on during any given season, and now there is 27,000 cheaters or something like that. We see those ban waves say, hey, we banned 27k people here, or hey, we banned 56k people here. That's still a lot of cheaters, obviously, but those numbers were also similar to what we've seen in years past. So can you say with confidence the cheating situation has improved? Maybe there's less guys spinning around in a circle getting 100% headshots for 5 minutes, but there's still a huge amount of cheaters, which is going to be a major problem until it's truly combated in a proactive way and not a reactive way, which is what Ricochet is all about now. There's no real stopping the cheaters before they've made their impact on the game. It's only after the fact that they get reported or they get caught with Ricochet's mitigations, and then they get banned. There's not really that significant, proactive anti-cheat measure right now that's stopping them before they load into their first game or before they load onto the main menu even. That should be something that should be happening with a game of this caliber made by studios and publishers of this caliber. This is Call of Duty, the number one FPS brand in the world, and it's 20 plus years now into its lifespan, and we're still having these discussions. Now, a lot of these are a lot newer with anti-cheat and with the servers than they were back in COD 4 and whatnot, but still we're going on multiple years of these similar conversations constantly sort of reappearing because not all that much seems to be changing. You can also look at the server thing year over year. We obviously don't get the same communication as we do with the anti-cheat as mentioned, but we go back from Warzone 1 where there were clearly server issues. They needed to be better, but we were playing with 150 players on Verdansk. We were playing with 200 players on Verdansk even during some LTMs. Resurgence, I think, had Resurgence Extreme when it was 90 players on Rebirth or something, and those were awesome LTMs. I had a ton of fun, and then just even standard gameplay, 150 players on Verdansk. And then in the following years, they say it's because of design decisions that we've seen a lower player counts. Caldera lowered its player count. That seemed like a direct reaction to the servers being just absolutely abysmal for some time. Obviously, right now in Urzikstan, we're not playing at 150 players. The rumor is that Verdansk is coming back with Gulf War, right? So if it's a design decision, surely day one of Verdansk, we're not playing with 100 players or 120 players, right? We're playing with 150 players, because if it's a design choice, you wouldn't be changing that. We know how it flows on Verdansk, and it flowed incredibly well. So I think that's going to be very telling of, is it actually design choices, or is that the answer for, them not wanting to say, yeah, our servers can't really handle it, or what's the deal there? Either way, we are long overdue from seeing substantial upgrades to the anti-cheat and to the COD servers. And this is not the first time I've talked about this, obviously, and this probably won't be the last, because these are topics I will continue to shine light on, because we need improvements here to have a better game overall. And obviously the end goal of this channel really is to help have a positive impact on the game, and in any way I can do that, I want to, right? So I'll continue to talk about these things as needed. If you want to help share the video around, get more eyes on it, bring more attention to these things, do me a favor and drop a like. It does really help the channel grow. And if you are new here, you want to guarantee you're always up to date with all things going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. But that's going to wrap things up for today. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.